Hello, everyone. How you doing? I don't think I have ever done this before. I don't think anyone, to my knowledge, has done this before. Basically, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna play through the game, through some scenes, through some levels, and talk about the game, talk about review of this game. I'm going to be reviewing this game as I'm just playing it through many of these different levels, and I'm not gonna get to the nitty and gritty stuff right away. I'm gonna first talk about some positives and then a whole lot of negatives about this game. Okay, one of the major issue with this game, before I even start like walking you through this, is the fact that within 8.5 hours of the storyline, they were trying to cramp up way too much stuff in it with way too many characters that none of these characters had really had any time to really make you feel any empathy or care for them. You didn't even get a chance to like get to know them that well because the shortness of the game, you know. And the whole thing pretty much started this university experiment, Riverport University experiment. This is where Jack Joyce, which is played by Sean Ashmore, he arrives at the Riverport University, and his best friend Paul Serene back then at 1999, I believe. Oh, 2016. I'm sorry, October 9th, 2016. His best friend Paul Serene invited him to do to be like, if you will, a guest and somebody to witness this experiment that he's doing. And the experiment basically is about quantum physics. It's about quantum fracture of a time, and basically what happened is everything goes haywire. Like the whole thing just goes sideways, and the project goes bad. But while the project goes bad, both Paul Serene and Jack Joyce, they both get a hold of this power that's called fracture of time. And that fracture of time
It destroys us all.
gives them the ability to alter the future, to go back in the past and alter the future so they can change certain events. Now, in charge of that, there's a company called Monarch, the company that Jack Joy's brother Will worked at, and Jack's brother Will was the one that was working with the Monarchs, and Paul Serene was in charge of that company at the time.
Time travel.
And I don't want to give too much spoilers, but
What do you want to cover
what
first?
you're seeing right now here is basically a interview. And this interview, it's happening at the Monarch. You see it right there. Monarch is the company that pretty much started this whole thing in university. You see it right here. This is university. This is where Jack Joyce arrives to meet Paul Serene.
Will was a scientist. He was also
And his brother Will was also the scientist. He worked there as well in that university. Monarch was the one that's funding this project, and there was protesters that were going against this project because the project was in not for the benefit of the people. It's just for the benefit of whoever gains that power, really.
Riverport University. Here we are.
And this is the scene where Jack Joyce goes in.
Hey, thanks for the ride.
But he had no idea what he was getting into. All he knew that they were working on some project, some experiment, and this is where Jack Joyce goes in, and that's where he's gonna meet Paul Serene.
Well, not so much.
How did it make you feel?
I was just happy to see Paul.
Paul,
Jack.
just got to the campus. Where are you?
God, it's good to hear your voice.
Now this is where Paul Serene is talking to him, and
This is. I know. See you soon. Why 4 a.m.? Why not wait till morning? Paul had always been a showman.
so many of you, like, I don't know how many of you realize that when the game first starts, the story was being told through Jack Joyce. Jack Joyce was being interviewed in the beginning with that woman, and then you see the tower of Monarch zooming out. So we know that he's being interviewed. This already has happened. He's telling a story what already has happened. I mean, it's all good and nice. The graphics looks pretty sharp for Xbox One. Like I said, the only thing that's slowing this game down, it's a short 8.5 hours that are just killing it, man. You cannot cramp up all of this storyline within 8.5 hours because you don't give enough breathing time for the characters. So here you can see there's the protesters, people who are protesting here. They're against the Monarch because the Monarch solution creates the problems because they're not doing it for the benefit of the people. They're just doing it for the benefit of themselves. Now this girl right here is the girl that he meets here at the campus, and then she becomes also a very important role player in the game. But we're not going to talk to her right now too much because I'm just going to go walk around a bit. And there's a
Success. Driven. He made it onto a lot of those top young professionals lists. And now he was coordinating some huge project at the university. It's a big deal for him.
Hey, protest's over. At home.
there's another guy here, Liam Burke, which is also an important character, and we get to see him in the TV show a little bit. He's a security for Monarchs. Yeah.
Come on, move along.
So bottom line is, I'm gonna go and
Trip just to see a
try to skip through this as quick as I can. You have to keep in mind this it's a spoiler, 100% spoiler here.
Jack Joyce.
There is a Paul Serene,
Flesh.
quote unquote best friend, right?
Shaking money bags.
Shut up and bring it in.
I mean, the story starts kind of interesting, like any other story, but the problem is what the story is trying to do. It's very predictable. Like the story, it's very predictable. That's another negative that I didn't like about the storyline. It's very predictable, and you can tell pretty much which way it's gonna go.
How was the flight?
First class. Thank you for that.
I knew right away that
I'm guessing Will's not meeting us.
I knew right from beginning that Will go. That not Will. That Joyce, Jack Joyce, right here, played by Sean Ashmore, will go to past and try to alter the past, so the future could be different, which he did eventually in the game.
Heading on.
You are given some choices in this game. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of choices that you're given, whether or not you want certain people to
He's going to.
survive or not survive. Do you want certain people to stay alive? But it's not like Heavy Rain. It's not exactly like Heavy Rain. I mean, it would have been cool if they gave you the opportunity to like go back in time and use the time machine to go back in past and try to alter as many things as you can. Like if they have done that in the game, I think the game would have been much more interesting and much more enjoyable. But you're not given that chance. Everything is kind of, the road is already paved for you. You have to go with a storyline. Like you cannot go anything outside the storyline. So you're stuck with a storyline.
Jack.
So this was the first level where you go into the university, and that's where the experiment goes wrong. I'm not going to go ahead and show you that. where he gets the powers and he gets the fracture of the time and the stutter and everything. And he also finds out that his brother Will was killed. And that's the whole reason, the whole purpose of Jack Joyce going into that's the whole thing of Jack Joyce going into this whole fracture of time, is to save his brother, to go ahead and save his brother. And here, I'll show it to you right here. But also, when he realized that he could save his brother, he also realized, you know what? If I can save my brother and go back in past, then I can save pretty much all the people I care about. You know. But the problem with that is the game doesn't give you that ability to do that. You know, that's his brother right there, Will.
Hands. Gotta keep moving.
And this is where his brother gets killed right here. Obviously, he couldn't save them, and that's where he gets killed. I mean, he didn't get killed here, but he gets killed by Paul Serene. We'll see that shortly.
Jack. You just... What just... Go.
That was the first time my power started to manifest. And out of control. Saved Will.
Jack, your proximity to the pulse, it must have altered your relation to the chrono field.
What I just did.
And, you know, once he learns that he has all this power, then he tries using it for to help destroy Paul Serene and Monarchs. But the thing with the Monarch is that there's another guy that's a right hand to Paul Serene, and his name is Hatch. Now, this guy is truly a key player in this game. You know, he's the guy that you don't see him coming. You know,
That didn't help.
he's the two-faced monster. Two-faced monster. That's what he is. And then we find out when we watch TV show who he really is. Which, to me, honestly, he's the only character that's really interesting. And you probably guys know this character from this actor from many TV shows. Like the most memorable TV show you'll remember him is the God. What was the name of that J.J. Abrams TV show? The Fringe. He was in charge of that Fringe group in that TV show.
About the count. I tried to make you listen.
Now let's talk about, you know, I already explained to you the storyline. You know, the storyline really it's pretty straightforward and it's very predictable. Let's talk about the mechanics of the game. All right. The graphics in this game are, for Xbox One, pretty decent. I wouldn't say they're like jaw-dropping, they're like mind-blowing. I still say The Rise, it's one of the best looking Xbox One games. Even to this day, I say The Rise, Fall of Rome, the Gladiator game is probably one of the best looking Xbox One games. This, I would say, it's probably the second best looking Xbox One game, but it has its issue. It has its glitches. It has its problems. It just shows you how weak the Xbox One system is. You know, like the frame rate is like barely 30 frames per second. It's not that fast. And 720p resolution, maybe 900p in some scenes. So this is the best Xbox One can do unless they upgrade it. You know, so the graphics are pretty decent. You know, they're not that bad, but they're nothing jaw-dropping. They're not like mind-boggling or anything like that. And here, let me show you. There's another thing right here where you get to choose a certain junctions, PR, if you will. Like this is the thing where you get to choose a couple of choices, but you're only given two choices. You know, this is not exactly like Heavy Rain, but it's kind of trying to be like Heavy Rain. The difference here is you're only given two choices. In Heavy Rain, you got multiple choices. In Heavy Rain, you're always given a choice when you're interacting with things, when you're doing things. So to compare this game to Heavy Rain, it's really not right. You know, you're not doing it justice if you're comparing it to the Heavy Rain. Uh, this game is nothing like Heavy Rain. I just want to keep that in mind for people who thinking, oh, is this something like a Heavy Rain? No, this is a mixed bag, man. This game is trying to be all over the freaking place, you know, and that's the main issue. That is the main issue that I have with this game. It's trying to be all over the place, man. It's running everywhere. It's trying to put a TV show. It's trying to put all these characters. It's trying to put this combat system that's really not executed well. And I'm going to show you why, what I mean by that, why it's not executed well. All right, so this is the scene where Paul Serene,
My name is Paul Serene.
where he gets to make a choice whether or not he would like to go and do a PR mode, which is pretty much a media mode where he goes in and frames Jack Joyce through media outlets, radio, TV, news, internet, to make Jack Joyce look like a terrorist, like a bad guy, right? Because Monarchy, you know, Monarch Security, this facility, they pretty much run the whole city. And then there's a second choice you have, which is the hardline choice. The hardline choice basically is giving you a option to go cold-blooded way and just kill everybody. Hey, Brittany, how you doing? How are you? Welcome to the chat. I'm just doing a review of this game, going through it, walking through it. So there's a bunch of spoilers. You know, I just want to give you a fair warning that I'm going to be giving a lot of spoilers while I'm reviewing this game and going through all these levels. And welcome to my chat room. If you have any questions, just ask. All right, this guy, the black guy right here, that's Hatch, Mr. Hatch. He's like a right-hand man of the company to Paul Serene. And he's actually a very key player in this game. Because what Paul Serene doesn't realize is that this guy right here, Hatch, is using Paul Serene, persuading him to do other things so that way he can destroy Paul Serene and have all the power to himself. Basically what Hatch is trying to do, he's trying to take control of the Monarch company and be in charge of Monarch company. And then later on in the game, we're going to see that he actually becomes in charge of Monarch company. However, the guy has a blood on his hands. He has done a lot of wrong. He had killed a lot of people, by the way. And we get to see that in a TV show, that he has done that. And that's what I'm talking about right here, the Monarch company, right-hand man, Mr. Hatch, Martin Hatch. I call him Mr. Hatch. Now, we already met this guy. He's part of security of Monarch company right here. That's Leon Burke. And when we watch the TV show, we also get to see that he has a wife, and a pregnant wife, as a matter of fact, and he cares about them very much. So he tries to stop the Monarch solution, but eventually spoilers, he ends up dead. You know, this guy right here, Hatch, he kills them. Now, this is the girl we met at the Riverfront University. Now, here's the thing. Here I can have two choices. I can go ahead and try to use her as a witness to go in the PR mode and talk about Jack Joyce, how bad person he is, how he's a terrorist and all this other shit. Kind of spill all the lies on the news and on all these TV outlets and radio shows and whatnot to make Jack Joyce look a bad person, so people will fear him as a you know, running terrorist or whatever, which is not true. But those are the choices you're given. Here, I'm going to come here. I'm going to show you right now. Here you go. There are two choices that you're given in the game.
could choose a path that would become the actual future,
And
the option.
in my opinion, it's not really that sophisticated because you're only given two choices. You know, there's a hardline choice and the PR choice. Here, if we look at the hardline choice is where she gets killed, pretty much. You know, she's out of the picture.
Monarch would take a hardline approach, crush all obstacles, eliminate all witnesses. It would be harsh.
That is the cold-blooded mode that you can go through.
Or
I dug through the area and I found everything I could on your bro. This is messed up, man.
And then you gotta have a PR mode, which I'm gonna show you in a minute.
people of Riverport would turn against us.
So yes, some would say this has a little bit of replayability, but not that much because you're only given two choices. There's not much of a replay value here that you're only given two choices. You might go back through this game twice, but after you go through this game twice, I don't think you want to go play through this again. And then you're given the PR mode, which is right here.
I want to stay.
PR mode is pretty much going on the news station, going through media, making all the lies, telling people what to believe, what to say.
The manhunt continues.
You see, if you put enough information into people's mind that a person, it's a bad person, he's an evil person, he's a terrorist, he's very armed and dangerous, then people will believe that. When the authority tells the majority of people this is a dangerous person, you know, then people will believe it. Kind of like in today's society, you know, if everybody tells you this is a very dangerous person on the news, majority of you will believe it. Will say, yeah, this guy's a dangerous person. We got to be careful, even though that's not true. So you're only given two choices, a hardline choice and a PR mode. All right, so let me go quit to the menu. And then you have this integration to a TV show. This is another thing that's kind of interesting that's put in the game, the TV show. Does it work? Yeah, it works to some degree. You know what I mean? But the problem is, here's the issue. There's nothing wrong with this. I don't mind sitting through this and watching the TV show and to see the outcomes, to learn more about these characters. But the problem is the TV shows are only like half an hour long. They're not that long. And you only have short window opportunity to explore these characters. You know, when you have a game that's only 8 hours long and you have all these characters, you have all these TV shows, they're about half an hour long. You got maybe 4 of them, 4 TV shows, which is about, I don't know, 2.5 hours long, 4 episodes. That's not enough time for you to cramp up all of these characters, to explore all of them and their past and what happened and what's going on with Monarchs. You know, it's just not enough time for this ambitious storyline. It's just not enough, man. And that's where the game really fails to me as far as the storyline, because they're trying to cramp up all this stuff, all of this stuff inside this game. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because you don't feel any empathy for these characters, because they feel the acting and everything, they just feel forced. You know, everything in the game feels forced. Like you don't just feel any empathy for these characters. You don't really care about them. They're so dislikable, these characters. Therefore, you don't care what happens. Then, you know, Jack goes in to capture and regain his consciousness. He goes to the old Riverport. When he goes to the old Riverport, he discovers this time machine that he can use, which I'm going to show you. It's right here. Hold on. Yeah, there's a time machine right here. He goes into this time machine where he prepares it. But in all honesty, the storyline is very predictable, and the characters are very easy to predict. Except maybe that one actor that's playing the black guy that's playing Martin Hatch. He's probably the only likable character that I like in the game. But everybody else is just kind of like dull. Uh, you really don't, even Beth Wilder. I mean, you don't really feel any empathy to any of these characters. They're just so they feel forced, and it's really not their fault because the writing, the way it's set up, it doesn't give the characters enough time. If this was like a seasonal DLC TV show and the game had like, I don't know, maybe 120 to 200 hours plus where you get to explore these characters, where you get to explore different things and choose different paths, then maybe this game would have a much better experience. But when you're trying to cramp up 8 hours of short gameplay and cramp up also half an hour, 4 episodes TV show in it, it just doesn't give the this game enough to live to it. You know, it just you cannot force all these characters and everything in a short game. You know, it just doesn't work. So anyway, this lady, this is Sophia Amaral, Dr. Sophia Amaral. She's the wife of Paul Serene. She's the one that actually helps. Actually, not really helps, but try to get them to help work on the time machine so they can go back in past and alter the future. Which eventually they'll do. They'll alter the past. He'll go in the past. Both Beth Wilder and Jack Joyce will go in the past trying to alter the future. But however, there's something else going on in this game that's not being explained. For example, the Beth Wilder. Not much known about her except that she was already in the past multiple times. And that she met herself when she was a little girl. And then came back from the past into the future to see herself as this grown girl that she is right now, but not much about that is known, except that she is from the past and the future, and that she went to the past multiple times and then came to the future multiple times. So not much is known about her really. And there's another glitch in the game too that's very annoying. Like if you leave your controller, the controller will just keep going upwards. There's a glitch in the game that's there. Controller will move by itself. Will just go up. Check this out. I'm not even touching my controller. It just sits there. But it goes up by itself. It's weird. Anyway, so let me show you the time machine. Like it's right here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'm supposed to talk to her. The time machine is right here. There it is. That's the time machine right there. If you can see it throughout the window. And this is where Jack Joyce will be going in and traveling into the past, trying to alter the future and make it different. Now let's talk about the combat system. Honestly, the combat system in this game, it's really horrible. Everything about the combat system just doesn't work. It really doesn't work, man. The reason why I say it doesn't work because the cover system is not existent. Like he basically just kneels down a bit, and he's not even covering when he goes to the certain objects to cover. He's just kneeling down a bit automatically, which means you cannot choose your own cover. There's no cover system in this game. You just have to run, use your powers, and try to avoid getting hit. And it's clunky. It just doesn't work. Here, I can show it to you if you guys want. I can show it to you really quick if you guys want, and it just doesn't work, man. It's very clunky. It's very unorganized. It's just not good. This is toward the end of the game, right here. This is toward the end of the game, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. And I'm just gonna show you the combat system. It just doesn't work, you know. It's not like Gears of War where you can go to the certain objects and hide and lift up your weapon and shoot. Like, you know, it doesn't have that here. You know, it doesn't have that kind of mechanics. So it's very disappointing. Not to mention the loading time, you know, which takes forever to load. That's another negative that I have to point out about the game. There you go. You see? Let's see how long I have to wait just to load the game. So let's just recap really quick. You know, the storyline, not that good. Really predictable. The characters are so dull. You don't care about them. You don't have any empathy toward the fucking characters. They're just so dull. And it's a shame. And it's a damn shame because a lot of these characters, they're like good actors. But the written story that was given to them was just not that good. Because they weren't giving enough time to explore these characters because of the shortness of the game. You know? And then the combat system sucks. It's too repetitive. You constantly get these enemies, you know, they constantly repeat as you're going through some of the levels. You always have to. And then there's this problem again, you know, when you don't touch your controller, the controller goes up vertically every single time. Look, the controller, I'm not touching it. It goes up vertically. It stays there. So it's some kind of a glitch in the game for whatever the reasons. I don't know. Yeah. So this is the end of the game. This is basically where you go with your brother Will. You go back in the past, and then we go to 2010 or 2016, prior to Will execution, and then that's where he fights Paul Serene, and that's where he kills Paul Serene. And then when he kills Paul Serene, there is the scene at the end where he finds out that Jack Joyce is now introduced to a Monarch company, and they want him to work for Monarch company. But what Jack Joyce doesn't understand is that in charge of Monarch company, it's Martin Hatch. And Martin Hatch is another evil bastard. You know, it's no different than Paul Serene. He's just a different version of Paul Serene. You know what I mean? So, all in all, how do I feel about the game? How would I score this game? You know, I think I went through pretty much most important key points in this game. I didn't go through all the characters. I went through some characters. I didn't want to spoil shit out of everything. But honestly, the game, it's really, really, really short. As you guys can see, I finished the game. I went through all of it. And I also have the video you guys can watch and see the ending of the last battle, and you'll see how frustrating it was for me to finish that battle. But all in all, honestly, the game, it's just too short. Storyline is too predictable. Characters are too dull. You don't care about them. You know, they're very dislikable characters. The TV show, the episodes are really not that good. They're like only half an hour, and they feel forced. The acting feel forced. The problem with this game is it had a good idea, but it wasn't executed well. And the main reason it wasn't executed well because they were trying to cramp up everything into the game in a short period of time. You know what I mean? And the game also, I feel the game didn't know what it wanted to be. Like this game was trying to be so many different things. And it failed. It failed in every aspect of it, man. It failed. I really wanted to like this game. I really, really, really wanted to like it. I really wanted to enjoy it as much as I can. And I did finish it. I have the proof that I finished it. If you guys watch my streams, you will see that I finished this game. But it's a short game. It's a very short game. There's a little much to do here after you finish it. There's some collectibles you can collect and watch some videos, and you only have 2 choices you're given to change the fate of certain characters. But other than that, there's not much to do here. Once you finish this game, and that's it. It's over. You're never going to touch this again. And the reason you're not going to touch this game again because the combat system sucks so bad. It's so frustrating that you're never ever going to want to play this freaking combat system ever again. So, you know, it's just not, in my opinion, it's not worth the $60. It's just not worth it, man. There's not much here to do. You know, there's some credits here. You know, Agent Gillen, Patrick Hoyensing. Agent Gillen is the guy who was in the TV show Game of Thrones. Obviously, you'll recognize him from that. And this guy, the black guy, it's also the actor that was in the Fringe TV show. And Sean Ashmore, everybody knows him from the X-Men and The Following with Kevin Bacon TV show. So, yeah, guys, I really cannot recommend that you get this game. I would skip on this one. Save yourself $60. Get a Doom. You know, Doom has more replay value because, you know, it's Doom. It's an online shooter. With this is a good rental. If you can rent this, it's a good rental, you know. But I would just watch this on the YouTube, you know, just see other people play it, look at the storyline. But it's very disappointing. I really don't know why this game got 8 out of 10. I feel like Microsoft and developers paid certain websites to give it a good score. But as a gamer, and I'm not affiliated to Microsoft, I'm not affiliated to anybody. I'm independent. I'm telling you, this game, it's not worth it. It's not worth $60. The best thing you can do is just stay away from this game. Don't purchase it. Watch the whole thing on YouTube. It's only 8 hours. And see it. And there's nothing on this game that you'll ever go back. You know? Because the combat system sucks. You're not going to get through that frustrations again. You're not giving them any choices in this game. Unlike Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, you know, you're not giving way too many choices to go through in this game. The TV show really is like sucks. It's too forced. It's just, I mean, it's bad. Quantum Break. It's a quantum broken. It's quantum broken, man. It's sad because there goes another exclusive game that just went down the toilet, and it's sad, man. That it's been what 3.5 years, almost 4 years now, since these consoles been released, and have we yet to see a good exclusive game? Technically, you can't even call this game exclusive because it is available on PC to Windows 10 users, so it's not really exclusive to Xbox. It's also exclusive to Windows. But yeah, guys, there goes another exclusive game down the toilet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's some more games coming out this year. We'll see what happens. But for now, Quantum Break, it's a big disappointment. I cannot recommend this game. I wish that I could. I wanted to recommend it, but I can't. I can't because it's just not that good. And you're gonna feel ripped off if you purchase this game and you give $60 for this game. You're gonna feel like somebody just stole your $60. It's not worth it. Okay. This is why this is why it's important not to pre-order a game until you try it. The only reason I got this game because I wanted to do this for you guys. I sacrificed the $60 to give you guys, my subscribers, an opportunity to see the game and also to let you know if it's worth $60 or not. I did this for you guys so I can save you the money of not purchasing this game. You can just watch my streams that I did previously and see the whole thing. But honestly, I cannot recommend this game at all. I really can't. I can't. I know you guys are going to say, but it's got an 8 out of 10. Forget about that review. That review was paid for. So you don't want to listen to those reviews on IGN and other ones. They're being paid for by the developers, by the Microsoft to give it a good score, okay? It's a one big money scheme. Don't go to that shit. It's all about money. All right? Business, it's all about money. Me, I'm not affiliate to anybody. No one's paying me anything. I'm just giving you my honest opinion as a gamer. I'm telling you that you don't want to purchase this game. If you do, you're going to feel ripped off that somebody ripped you off $60 on this game. So, there it is, guys. That was 41 minutes, of my review here that I did live. I don't think anybody has ever done this. I'm the only dude that has done this. Live streamed the review and walked you through it, showed you everything. So, sadly, cannot recommend it. Sorry, guys. It is what it is. Save your cash. Get yourself a Doom. Wait for some other games that are coming out. I would definitely highly recommend that you get No Man's Sky that's coming out. That's going to be definitely one of my highly anticipated games. But I think they should do a beta release on No Man's Sky. I think they should give us a demo. Because I'm really, really disappointed with the games. They're being hyped, but they're not giving us a demo. All right? And I think people should be they should be wary of games that are being hyped. We as the gamers, we have to stop falling into the same trap. Don't fall into the same trap by developers hyping the game on E3 shows, and then they're telling you, yeah, you have to pre-order this, you have to get that. They're showing you something, like in Quantum Break. Remember an E3 show? They showed you totally different character, different situation that has nothing to do with the game. And when the game was released, you never saw that character in the game. That guy, with the dark hair, skinny dude that walked in. So, again, guys, be aware of the misleading sellouts of hyped games. You need to try the game. You need to see the finished product first. You need to see it. You need to try it. You need to get a demo. And then, based on that, you can decide whether or not this game is worth it or not. But we got to stop pre-ordering these games, man. And because what we're doing is, when we pre-order games like this, then we're letting the developers know, hey, these gamers fall for the same trap every single time. We put up some bullshit trailer, we put up some stuff on there, make it look fancy, and people will pre-order it. And it works. Because people think, oh, this is how the game looks, Majority of Joes and Marys, they believe that shit because they don't know any better, man. They're brainwashed. But I know there's a lot of smart people out there that know that's bullshit, and they can see a thin line on the writing. But we have to stop doing that, guys. We need to demand, as I was saying earlier, I demand that developers of Doom released open beta next month before they release the game, or even by the end of this month. They should release open beta for everyone. Let everyone try the game. But no, only people who have pre-ordered the game get to try it. Well, that's not right. What are you hiding? Why don't you want to show the game to everybody? Why? If you show the game to everybody, and everybody sees the game and they like it, well, guess what? Then you have nothing to worry about. But that's the problem. They are worried that some people will not like it and they're not going to pre-order. They're going to drop the pre-order. You know what I mean? The only game the only guy that did it right, and I hate to say this, but was Cliff Bleszinski. Cliff Bleszinski gave you the open beta on Gears of War 3, Gears of War 2. He actually let you experience the game before you buy it. And I think that's fucking cool. And he was the first guy to start the open betas. And he's right. Let the people experience the game before they buy it. If they like it, well, guess what? And if they don't, you can fix certain things. You can work on it, and you can make it better. All right, guys. It's been 45 minutes. Hopefully, you enjoyed this review. Again, I'm sorry. Bad news. I cannot recommend this game. I wish that I could. I was excited, just like you guys were excited about the game. But, same trap. Same tragedy. Still, Xbox One does not have any good exclusives. It still failed. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I cannot recommend this game. We'll have to wait until something else shows up. Alright guys, this is Eden. I'm out of here.